Corey and Laurie, how did you find Carnivore?
Well, it's kind of a funny story. It's all my fault.
It's always his fault.
Yeah. uh, well, starting back, I had to back up just a little bit to let you know why we finally decided we needed to do something again. Um, so we started a travel vlog channel back in April, started filming in April, started releasing videos in July. And as I was editing all those videos, I was looking at the way we looked on camera, and I'm like, oh boy, we really let ourselves go here. We got to do something. So in July, I had spent most of the month going relatively low carb, cut out the fries with my burger and had a side salad, and then cut out the bun to the burger. So I knew that low carb would work for me. And towards the end of July, I was driving down the road and I saw this van in front of me that had these great big stickers all over it, YouTube stickers and the name of a channel on it. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that there were any other YouTubers locally. So I got as close as I could, and I saw that it said My Zero Carb Life on it, and I had no idea what it was, had no idea who it was. Of course, I went straight home and looked it up on YouTube and found Kelly Hogan. And then I found, what was it? The Reversed Carnivore series. Mm-hmm. That Kelly Hogan was in, and Ken Berry, and Dr. Kiltz, and a bunch of other folks were in that. And I watched the first episode, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to have to get Laurie in to watch this. So I sat her down, and we started watching it. And so that's how we started. August 2nd, my birthday, we started on Carnivore.
Awesome. And wow. So just like the stickers were on the side of the truck, and that was that was what got you started. So regarding what's happened in that time, so sorry, this was August 2nd. Okay, so from August 2nd, maybe Corey and then Laurie, would you be able to share kind of the improvements that you've personally experienced?
Sure. Why don't you go first?
Okay. So I did have some labs done around that time as well, and I had some inflammation come back, and some of my numbers were borderline, and that's also kind of my why. And when he suggested that, I said, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot, and let's see how it works. And I felt really good. In the beginning, it was a little difficult. My transition was a little difficult because I didn't know if it was electrolytes that I was lacking, if it was medication that I was taking. I wasn't feeling that great. And I also gave up caffeine. So I did it all: sugar, caffeine, everything. And so after I got through that and I got my electrolytes pretty much regulated, everything's been great. I've been feeling great. I've had more energy. And I'm seeing results, some non-scale wins and some scale wins. And it's slow going, but at the same time, I feel better. I'm not swollen. The inflammation is pretty much gone. So for me, this is it. I'm on board.
Yeah. And for me, Laurie's kind of a slow loser. I'm a bit of a fast loser, especially on a low carb way of eating. So I started losing weight right away. To date, we're 21 weeks in right now, and I'm down, kind of hit a stall. So I'm somewhere around 55 pounds lost in that time. Within about 3 weeks, I noticed that my blood pressure was dropping. I've been on blood pressure medication for 12 plus years. And even on the medication, I was regularly reading 140 something over 90 something. And So when I started seeing it drop down to normal ranges, 120 over 70 something, I was like, okay, well, maybe I can take half a pill every day instead of a whole pill. And of course, my blood pressure went up a little bit at first, and then it started coming back down. So I stuck with that for a while. I was also taking, uh, last year, I was diagnosed with arthritis in my left knee. I've been having a lot of bad pain. I ended up getting cortisone injections, and those were expensive, and I'd have to go in every 3 months to get them. So I talked to the doctor. They gave me a meloxicam prescription. So I was taking meloxicam every day. I was taking 2 different types of turmeric because the turmeric really helped. If I missed a couple of days of the turmeric, the pain would come back, and gave me a lot of trouble. So about 3 weeks in, I stopped taking the turmeric altogether, and I cut my meloxicam in half because I wasn't having any discomfort at all, and continued with that. Still didn't have any issues. And then about 3 months in, I said, well, let me see what happens if I just stop taking this prescription anti-inflammatory entirely. And the knee pain hasn't come back. And I had dealt with that pain for a year and a half. And so that's been a big win for me. Let's see, about 2 weeks ago, I went to see my doctor, and I had taken my blood pressure, and it was 120 over 73. And I told her the story. I said, look, I'm taking half of my blood pressure medicine. I've got a really good blood pressure readings regularly. And she said, well, the next step would probably be just to eliminate it altogether. And so that's what I've done. My blood pressure elevated a little bit, but it's still better than it was when I was taking the blood pressure medication. So, and that's just 4 months in. So that's a big win for me.
Mhm.
Mm. Those are awesome results after just 4 months. And as a fellow left knee arthritis sufferer, let me just say congratulations.
Yeah.
I am interested to know, though, in your experience, because I had the same thing. I was going in, I was having the cortisone injections. How long did the pain relief last for after having an injection?
Mine probably lasted about 3.5 to 4 months because I only had it the one time. And so it did relieve the pain completely. I felt, pretty much brand new for those 3 months. But, you know, for us, it was a $200 injection charge. And, it just didn't seem worth it. It seemed that there had to be a better way. Turns out Carnivore was a much better way. So no drugs.
Right. And I mean, there's also the thing, like, of course, the cost, but then there's also the thing, like, you feel like, well, if the pain's coming back, then really I'm just covering up the problem, right? It's just a
Right.
band-aid on the problem until, yeah, interesting. So, Laurie, without, uh, I mean, let me say, you have my respect that you went sugar-free and caffeine-free at the same time. That is, I still haven't been able to get rid of the caffeine. How you talked about how your energy is much improved. How about your sleep? Are you sleep better now?
That's a loaded question, because I'm a sleeper normally, and so I think my sleep is better. We have furry animals that like to wake us up in the middle of the night, and so I think I'm sleeping deeper. And I am taping my mouth now, which is something that I just started doing, and I think it's helping. I don't know. My mouth was getting really, really dry, so I'd wake up from that, and of course, I'm not a youngin' anymore, so I started going through menopause, or I'm in menopause right now, or kind of going through. So, the hot flashes would come, especially triggered by sugar. So I don't have a lot of that. So I think overall, yes, I'm sleeping better, longer, and I have had a CPAP, and I think I'm going to stop using that. I've been doing a little, And so I think by taping the mouth will help not snore, because, I got somebody next to me that I don't want to wake up. Otherwise, he won't be happy and he won't get good sleep. So it's I'm working on it, because a lot of the inflammation is gone in here and in my nose, I think. So I think it's all kind of working itself out.
Nice. So I think it's great that you've been able to do this at the same time. That must make coordination at home much easier. How are you preparing meals and how are you eating day to day?
I'll let you take that one.
Okay. Well, I do most of our meal prep, at least for our evening meal. I'm not a big sleeper, so I don't sleep in late. I'm normally up between 6 and 7 in the morning, even though my alarm's set at 7. So I'm up and figure, well, I'm up, might as well go to work. I go into work, and so I'm normally home for 4:30 at the latest. Laurie tends to work a little bit later. So I come home, get our steaks out of the fridge, get them prepped, get them on the grill, or if it's real cold like it has been here lately, in the air fryer, and make our steaks or cook something else that we may want to try,
like a fish or something.
Yeah. We normally do some type of surf and turf, so it's normally a steak and maybe some shrimp in the air fryer, and a little dish of butter. And
so you're only eating that one time a day usually?
We eat at work as well. One thing we don't talk about a whole lot, but we happen to own a nano brewery, so or a brew pub. So I brew the beer. Laurie runs the business. We have a kitchen. We've got a special item on our menu that's the Carnivore. So order a couple of burger patties, maybe some bacon,
hot dog, eggs,
things like that. So lunch is pretty easy at work.
Mm-hmm. And nice. I am trying to eat 3 times a day. I can't always eat 3 times a day, but I do feel better when I eat 3 times a day as opposed to 2.
Yeah.
I see. So you said nano brewery. Is that what? Maybe that's an American term. Is that what maybe I would refer to as a craft brewery?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. With a kitchen.
Okay. Yeah.
So
okay.
Microbreweries are normally 7 barrels and larger brew house. We have a 3.5 barrel brew house, so it's on the smaller side.
And so how does that go with you doing Carnivore? Like, do you still drink beer, or have you given that up?
No, we've given it up pretty much completely as far as beer goes. Occasionally on a special occasion, Christmas or Thanksgiving or something like that, we may have a glass of wine, but
dry wine.
Dry red wine. But yeah, as far as the beer goes, the only time I even taste it is if I have to
quality control.
For quality control, and that's like a sip just to make sure that the taste is where it needs to be. So that's kind of a responsibility of my job. Don't do it all the time, but I do it on occasion as needed, which, like I say, it's a couple of times a month maybe. So
don't let our customers know you're not drinking beer.
Yeah, it does feel kind of weird. I brew beer all day, every day, and cider and mead, and don't consume any of it. And yet, depending on all these customers out there drinking it to pay my salary.
Yeah. We used to love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just trying to put myself in the same position, and I'd be I'd be doing quality control every day. I'd be going, I just need to check a little bit more. I'm not sure about that one. Um,
Yeah.
so you start pretty early, Corey, and Laurie. You're finishing pretty late.
Mhm.
Is that just you're trying to cover the whole opening time, or?
I'm not a morning person.
It's more our sleep habits.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
rather stay in bed a little longer and work a little later, if I have to be honest. You
Very,
know.
very nice. I appreciate your honesty. That's nice. Okay, so how have people around you reacted to the way you're eating, like family and friends?
That's a great question.
Yeah. I'd say for the most part, it's been pretty positive. We went keto in 2018, lost quite a bit of weight. Um, Late 2019, early 2020, we kind of fell off of it. Um, and it really came down to scheduling. Because at that time, I was working a full-time job outside of the brewery, and I was spending my evenings and weekends working almost a full-time job in the brewery. So I didn't have time to do any meal prep. And that was, at least my perception at the time, was there was a lot more meal prep necessary with keto as opposed to carnivore. And that's one of the things that drew me to it, was just the simplicity. Cook a steak, grill up, fry up some ground beef, or whatever it is, and you're done. And so you don't have to create crack slaw or something fancy to get all the little components in.
Yeah. As for me, I found a lot of people are like, oh, you have to eat your vegetables. Oh, the vegetables are good for you. And so I started just changing up what I was saying and just said, hey, look, my numbers came back borderline. This and that. Now I've had inflammation. And so I'm doing an elimination diet, and I've eliminated everything because there's no inflammation in meat. And so at first they were under the assumption that once I got through the elimination, I would start adding stuff back. And so I didn't say yay or nay, but it's been a lot easier, and people have supported that. And the fact that I say, that doesn't make me feel very good. And, so and for the most part, if you're open like that, and the fact that I say I'm a sugar addict now, and that also helps with people giving that support, because I'm like, look, I'm a sugar addict. I can't do it. If I do it, cravings come, and then I'm kind of back where I was, and I don't want to be there anymore. So I find that those little tweaks have really helped people understand and support more.
Yeah, I think that's a really good approach, Laurie. Like, when you go down the road of explaining it as elimination, that's you're kind of going along the same lines as saying there's an allergy issue or there's some kind of reactivity issue that I need to address. So people are much more likely to back off and go, oh yeah, I understand now. Right, rather than trying, yeah, you need to eat your veggies, you're going to get scurvy, you're going to get this problem, you're going to get that problem.
Right.
I'm yet to interview a carnivore that's got scurvy, which is, I'm going through the list, but I haven't met anyone yet. So Corey, you talked about how keto is, you felt that there was, it's maybe a little more difficult to prepare the meals, or it's a bit more time consuming. I think that was a similar thing for myself, and I think that's one of the things that's always made it a little bit harder to stick to, that and the keto treats.
Yeah.
But yeah, the carnivore, as you say, is so simple. It's just cook the steak, eat the steak. There's nothing more to
Right.
it, right? Yeah.
It really is. And you mentioned the keto treats. The thing about that is, when we were keto, we were very clean keto. So we were doing everything that we could do. We were basically paleo primal keto. So we cut out anything artificial, cut out any processed foods. I don't care if it said keto on it. I'm not going to eat it because I know it's probably junk. It was all avocado oil and olive oil and we buy the real avocado oil mayonnaise made by Primal Kitchen, and all these things, but we still had the sweeteners,
Desserts.
and the keto treats and the desserts and the things like that. It was monk's fruit, it was stevia, it was erythritol at that time, because that was still a thing. I think they pretty much quit that now, but all those things never tackled that sugar craving. It just fed into it. So whether it's got any calories or not, whether there may be an insulin reaction or not, you never dealt with the key issue, that core issue of the addiction to things that taste sweet. And when we cut that out, nothing sweet crosses my lips. If I drink a carbonated beverage, it's going to be, sparkling mineral water or something, and maybe a flavored seltzer mineral water or water, but nothing sweet, no sweet taste. And that, at least I've found, is really key to just knocking out those cravings, cravings for something sweet. Because I'm the kind of carb addict that it was sweet stuff, and it was also the savory stuff like the French fries and the chips and things like that, and bread. Yeah. So once you cut all that out, then my body could say, okay, no, we haven't tasted that. We don't need to taste that. And even now, if I try to eat something that's got some type of sweetener in it, it doesn't have a good effect on me. It actually kind of fires up those cravings again. So for me, it's much better to just completely eliminate it and continue on. So,
and on the topic of cravings, for anyone watching that might be thinking, I want to try this, but I always get a couple of days in, and I'm overcome by cravings, and I have to go and get the potato chips, or I have to go and get the M&Ms or whatever it is, and then I binge on that. I'm interested to know what each of your advice would be to someone getting started, or how to kind of stay above those cravings long enough to get over it.
Do you want to address that, or you want me to?
I can. Sure. So I'm the type of person that needs to go cold turkey. Like, I just got to do it. So I find that if I cut it out within a couple of days, it's gone. And I had an electrolyte that was sweetened by stevia once, a couple months in, maybe a month or so in. I did not know it was sweetened by stevia. And I'm a chocoholic also, with the sugar and all that. And it was a chocolate one, and I was drinking it like, oh my God, this is so good. Is this like really what I'm tasting? I wanted more of it. And then all I wanted to do was drink it and drink it and drink it. And I wanted more and more and more. I went and looked at the ingredients and saw that there was stevia, and I was like, oh, red flag. Okay, there is a sweetener. There's something here. And so I stopped it. It took about half a week to a week for those cravings to go, because it was mental, not necessarily physical, but like just that you wanted it and stuff. So that was an eye opener for me. So I would let people know that if they can cut it down, and wean themselves off, great. If you have done that and you're still having cravings, really take a look at what you're consuming and see if there's a hidden something in there, or even natural flavors, because I drink a lot of tea as well. And so anything with natural flavors, I try not to consume, because you don't know what those natural flavors are.
Yeah, I always feel like, the way that they can kind of mess around with the wording on those nutrition labels. I always feel like natural flavors, is that really natural, or is that just flavors made to taste natural? It's like,
Right.
Is it chemicals made to taste natural?
Right.
Yeah, cold turkey. I mean, that's what that is definitely an approach that I had to follow. How about you, Corey?
I think the biggest thing for me is the mindset. Um, when we're dealing with food addiction, we have to look at the fact that we have placed food in a position of entertainment in our lives. It's a treat. It's something that we should look forward to. It's a special occasion, whatever it is. And so we've taken food from where it should be, which is a source of nutrition for our bodies, and put it into, okay, this is a fun thing that we do. This is a treat that we have. And those treats get associated with all these different areas of our life. And so what we really have to do is we have to take control of that and say, now look, food is for nutrition. It's feeding my body. It's giving me the protein that I need and the fuel that I need to continue my day. Anything else is not needed, and oftentimes it's poisonous to us. So trying to maintain that mindset, and also staying motivated, because we all have to come to this whatever way of eating we come to with a reason why. And Laurie mentioned it earlier. Your why is essential. Why are you doing this? I'm doing it to lose weight. That's one reason. That's why I came to Carnivore to begin with. But even more important than that is I want to improve my health. I want to live to be 90, 100 years old and not be breaking down and falling apart. I don't want to have a heart attack in the next 5 to 10 years. I don't want to end up with high blood pressure that causes strokes or other damage to my body. And following this way of eating is proving to improve my health. And anything that I do off plan, I have to look at it as, okay, either I'm just going to accept it and go with it, which unfortunately has happened. But if we plan appropriately, then we can avoid that. And planning is key in my mind, especially around holidays and things like that. We just got finished with Christmas and Thanksgiving here in the U.S. Lots of gatherings, lots of different foods that we're not going to be able to eat. So how do you handle being around that stuff? Well, plan ahead, number one. And if you think that you're going to snack, well, are you hungry? Are you going to eat a cold burger patty? If you'll eat that, then you're hungry. Mm-hmm. If you want to eat it, then you're probably not. But if you're craving something, a lot of times you can try eating something that's on plan. One of the tricks I heard is taking a pinch of salt, putting it under your tongue. You could grab something to drink, make a cup of tea, something like that. So
I would like to share one thing that helped me. I had to take an unexpected trip to New York and I was staying at my brother's house, and my niece had a school function because it was a couple weeks ago. So the holidays were around, and they were making triple chocolate brownies. And I came in the house and I was like, oh my God, the smell. I went to the fridge, grabbed my pork belly that I brought from home, sat there. I ate 4 pieces until I no longer wanted anything to do with the brownies. And I just kept eating it until I was like, okay, it's good. I'm done. And I put it away. So that's a trick too, if you are in that situation.
Nice. It's just kind of like you feast until you can't feast anymore. And it's like, right. Okay, well, I'm done now. Yeah. Nice. So speaking of, you hope to live to 90 or 100, how has each of your outlooks changed on life in the last 4 months going forward? Your view of the future, I should say.
I would say, I had gotten to the point where, I'm 54 years old, and I thought, okay, well, I guess this is going to be just the downhill slide of the rest of my life, with the arthritis in my knee and waking up in the morning constantly with aches and pains and high blood pressure. and my body's just going to continue to fall apart until it can't last anymore. Um, I would say in the past 4 months, I've realized, well, no, it doesn't have to be that way. I can continue to eat right and continue to get my body in fighting shape, and actually have a healthier rest of my life than I had the first half of it. So
For me, I haven't really looked far into the future. It's let's just keep taking each day as it comes. And yes, I know where I want to be, and I do have those goals, and I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and I want it to last. But as far as looking out, I have not done that. So
Do you have a YouTube channel? Could you talk a little bit about your channel?
which one? We actually have 2 YouTube channels.
Please feel free to talk about both.
Okay. Well,
you did mention the other one.
Yeah, I did mention our other channel. It is Mountains to Sea Crew. It's travel vlogging. We were booked on a cruise by Laurie's dad back in January this year. And so I jumped on YouTube and started watching all of these videos about cruising and got hooked. And I looked at Laurie one day and I said, hey, we're going to St. Martin in April. We've been going for the past 15 years. It's kind of our vacation every year. Why don't we try vlogging and show what we know about the island and take people around? And so that's what we did.
And we didn't know anything.
Yeah, we didn't know anything. It's been a learning experience for sure. So that's how we started. And since then, we've gone on a couple of cruises and just been publishing a new travel video every week for the past 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Now, our Carnivore channel, we started in probably mid to late September, I think it was.
It was on a whim.
Kind of on a whim. Just said, hey, we're on this journey. Why don't we, as we're going out for our daily walks, let's take a camera with us and just talk about our journey, talk about things that are going on. And we started getting a lot of feedback and responses to it, and people leaving comments, and it just kind of blew us away. We were just kind of putting this out there to document our own journey,
keeping ourselves accountable,
and let people know that this really works, because hey, it was another YouTuber that got us into it.
Right.
And we all reach different people. So our idea was, okay, maybe there's someone out there that we can talk to, mm-hmm. that we can have an influence on their health and their well-being going forward. So that's why we started it, and it just took off. I mean, it's a couple of months old, and we already have twice the subscribers and twice the views as we do on our travel channel, which is kind of crazy, but because I spend so much time editing content for our travel channel, and doing these videos is fairly easy. I mean, we don't put a lot of time and I wouldn't say a lot of effort, but because we do put effort into what we talk about, but I don't invest anywhere near the amount of time editing for the Carnivore channel as we do for the other one. Mm-hmm. But people like our interaction. They like the things that we talk about. And so it's just been very encouraging to us to continue doing it, continue investing the time that we put in to be a voice and to help people stay strong, stay motivated, and eat meat.
I'll link to both of those channels below. I've got a couple of I guess kind of rapid fire style of questions that I'd love to throw at you both. So maybe Laurie first. What's your favorite animal-based food or your favorite carnivore food?
Pork belly.
Pork belly. And Corey, how about you?
Ribeye steak. A good ribeye.
Nice. So from all the YouTubers you've watched, you mentioned Kelly Hogan. What's the best piece of advice that's helped you with your carnivore journey?
Know your why.
Mm,
And don't lose your
okay.
peace, because when you're feeling good and you have high energy, you're at peace with yourself. And when you do fall off, or have something you shouldn't have, and you're not feeling well, you broke your peace. So those are two
Mm,
things that have stuck with me um, very early on.
Yeah. I would say, thinking about it, probably one of the biggest things is to give yourself grace. Be willing to forgive yourself if you mess up, if you fall off plan, eat something that you're not supposed to. Be willing to give yourself peace, not necessarily, or give yourself grace, so that you can get back on track. Don't beat yourself up for it and end up spending a week or a month off plan because you feel crappy about what you did. Get back on track and keep doing the things that you know are going to make you feel better.
And maybe acknowledge that you did that and how you felt, so that you know what you feel like. So maybe you won't do it again.
Right.
If you're not feeling so good.
nice. All right. So last one. For you, what is the number one thing that is improved that you hold out as that's the thing, that's the best thing that happened to me on Carnivore?
Oh, so many. You want to go first on that one?
Sure. By far the best thing is no more arthritis pain in my left knee. That was rough. I mean, I was putting a knee brace on. At one point I was using a cane just to get around. It hurt so bad. Didn't matter what I did. Walking upstairs, walking downstairs. I thought I had a torn meniscus in my knee because I had that in my right knee about 20 years ago. But went for the MRI. Nope, it was arthritis. So.
And
Mine
Laurie?
is feeling good. I mean, for the most part, I don't have brain fog. Like I'm just more aware of things, and like I'm lazy, as just normally. And so, yes, I still have those tendencies. However, I do have more energy, and I'm willing to do a little more.
Nice. Thank you
Just
so
lazy by
much.
nature. That would be better to say.
Cheers. So, Corey and Laurie, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story with us. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you
Thank
for
you for having us. Appreciate that.